Good morning, class. Who will be leading the prayer for today? Please come forward so we could start. The Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Thank you very much. Now you may take your seat. Before we proceed with our discussion, let me first have our attendance. Okay? Miss Abia? Okay, it seems that everyone are present, so let's head on with our discussion. But before we proceed with our discussion proper, I have here sentences, example sentences, and I want volunteers to read these sentences. Don't worry, I won't be asking questions, but I will be asking simple questions after all the sentences are read. Okay, any volunteer? Kindly read the first statements. Okay, thank you very much. For the next. Okay, thank you very much. And for the last. Thank you very much for your cooperation. So now the question is, what can you notice about these statements, about these sentences? Are there any similarities among them? Are there any differences? What are your observations about these sentences? Anyone? Okay, very good. That's right. We can really see that the herself, himself are very used in these sentences. Okay, so that is our discussion for today. For today, we will be discussing the intensive and reflexive pronouns. Does anyone have any knowledge about what is intensive and reflexive pronouns? Anyone? Have you heard of these terms before? Probably from your English teachers from the previous years. Anyone? Okay, very good. That's right. Before we move on with our discussion proper, let me first present the learning competencies or learning outcome for today's session. Okay, at the end of this lesson, students shall be able to first define intensive and reflexive pronoun. Second, differentiate intensive and reflexive pronoun. Third, determine the unique features or the distinct characteristics of reflexive and intensive pronoun that makes them different from each other. And then the last, use intensive and reflexive pronouns in written and in oral communication. So this is very important in your communication using the English language. You must be able to use intensive and reflexive pronoun both in written and oral, because these characteristics, these factors, these contexts are very different, because in written you get to think what you would write, but in oral you have a limited time to think of what you will say. Okay, let's move on with our discussion. I have here the definition of reflexive pronoun. Who wants to read the definition? Any volunteers? Okay. Thank you very much. So, in reflexive pronoun, they are pronouns that is accompanied by self or selves at the end of the pronoun. For example, myself, himself, herself, these examples. So in using reflexive pronouns, the pronoun and the reflexive pronoun must be correspondent to each other. And in a sentence, there should always be a pronoun or a noun that was previously mentioned before attaching or mentioning reflexive pronoun. Like for this example, anyone, can you please read the first example? Okay, very good. Thank you very much. So let us see here in this example, in this sentence, first to understand how do we use reflexive pronoun in a sentence. I enjoyed myself when I was in Canada. So you see, right? The pronoun I and the reflexive pronoun myself is matching. They are correspondent to each other because I refers to myself. It is singular and in a first person's POV. And as you can see too, the I is mentioned before the reflexive pronoun myself. So it is very important to know where you would put your reflexive pronoun and the pronoun in the sentence. Okay, so it says here that reflexive pronoun are used as an object to refer to the subject. So in this sentence, what is our subject? The I. And what is our verb or the action? It is enjoyed or enjoyed in past tense form. And the object or the receiver of the action is the reflexive pronoun, myself. Okay? So, again, the subject is I, the verb is enjoyed, and the reflexive pronoun is myself, which is also the object or the receiver of the action. So, who enjoyed? I. And what did he enjoy? Himself. When? When he was in Canada. Okay? Did you understand? Okay, I hope you understand. Second sentence. Anyone please read? Thank you very much. He's trying to market himself as a consultant. The subject is he, and our verb or action is trying. And the reflexive pronoun is himself. Again, in this sentence, the he and the himself is matching and they correspond to each other. He, himself. What is our verb again? It's trying. Let's say we take out himself in the sentence. He's trying to market as a consultant. Does that make sense? No, right? What is he trying to market? Is it his product, his self, or anything? Right? So in reflexive pronoun, when you take out the reflexive pronoun, the sentence would not make sense. Or in some cases, it would change the meaning. For example here, I enjoyed myself when I was in Canada. If we take out myself, it would be I enjoyed when I was in Canada. The sentence would sound and would seem incomplete. And it would change meaning. So, I enjoyed when I was in Canada. What did he enjoy? Or he just enjoyed. But the meaning of the sentence that means that he enjoyed himself was not there anymore if we take out this reflexive pronoun. But if it is present, the sentence would mean I enjoyed myself. Meaning that that person enjoyed himself. So he did everything for himself to enjoy while he was in Canada. Do you understand? Okay. Now let's move on to the uses and rules. The first rule, can you please read everyone together? Thank you very much. So in reflexive pronouns, it can be used as an object of preposition to refer back to the subject. So in the first, it is used as an object to refer to the subject. But in here, it is used as an object of preposition to refer back to the subject. Okay, so here's an example. Can you please read, everyone? Okay, thank you very much. Tom bought a motorcycle for himself. Where is the reflexive pronoun? Himself. What is the subject? Tom. And the verb is bought. So when the reflexive pronoun is added, it referred back to the subject. So Tom did not just simply bought a motorcycle, but he bought a motorcycle for himself. And how could it be an object of preposition? Because there is a preposition before the reflexive pronoun. Okay, do you get me? The preposition is the for. So when there is a for or a preposition before the reflexive pronoun, the reflexive pronoun is used as an object of preposition. And it refers back to the subject. Okay, do you get me? Okay, let's say we take out this phrase, the for himself. The sentence would be, Tom bought a motorcycle. See, there is a big change in the sentence. And the sentence would just mean, Tom bought a motorcycle. But for whom? for himself because we added now the reflexive pronoun. Okay, do you understand? Next, reflexive pronouns could also be used following the prepositional phrase all by to express that the subject did something on their own. So when we say all by, it's like the action was done solely or like very specifically by the subject only. Okay, let's have here an example. He drove to school all by himself. He drove to school all by himself. So, what is our our subject in this sentence? He. The verb or the action is the drove, and the reflexive pronoun is himself. But there is accompanied by an all by phrase. So it means that he drove to school all by himself. Means that he drove to school, that he's the only one who drove himself to school. Okay, there's no other person that he is with. Okay, do you understand that? Okay, very good. Now let us move on to intensive pronoun. Here we will see how different intensive and reflexive pronoun is. You will see how they are used in the sentence and what is their purpose in the sentence. Moving on with intensive pronoun. Anyone, can you please read the definition? Thank you very much. Okay, so in intensive pronoun, it is not really different for how it is constructed like in reflexive pronoun. It is also accompanied with self or selves, depending on their plurality or their singularity. Okay, so it is used to emphasize another noun or pronoun. What is that another noun or pronoun? Just like in reflexive pronoun, there should always be a noun or a pronoun that was previously mentioned before mentioning intensive pronoun. Because the sentence would not make sense if the intensive pronoun would be mentioned before the pronoun. Okay, so I have here an example for us to really understand the use of intensive pronoun in sentences and how it is placed, how it is used, and its function in a sentence. So, anyone, can you please read this example? Okay, thank you very much. So the sentence goes, I have never yet failed to meet a deadline I myself have set up. Do you see the difference on how intensive and reflexive pronoun are placed in a sentence? In intensive pronoun, as you can see in this example, the intensive pronoun is placed right after the pronoun that was mentioned. So, I, myself. And it is used to put more weight, put more intensity to the noun. That it is saying that I did it myself, I set up the deadline by myself, like that. And if we take out intensive pronoun in a sentence, do you think the sentence would still make sense? Would it still change? Would it change their meaning? Or would it still stand alone? Okay, let's take it out. I have never yet failed to meet a deadline I have set up. Did you think that the sentence changed the meaning? No, right? The sentence did not change its meaning. It still means that I set up the deadline that I have never failed to meet or to achieve. So, the purpose of intensive pronouns in sentences is to put more intensity. Like what is the name suggest? Intensive, intense. So it puts more intensity to the sentence or to the noun. Like the noun did it. Okay? Next example. Someone please read. Thank you very much. We ourselves feel that what we are doing is just a drop in the ocean. See? Just like the example number 1, the intensive pronoun is right beside the pronoun. Like the main pronoun in the sentence. So, we can see the difference now in intensive and in reflexive pronoun. That in reflexive pronoun, the pronoun is not put is not inserted right before the main pronoun or the main noun. But it is placed sentences after words, after the pronoun or the noun. But in here, it is placed right beside to really emphasize that that pronoun did the action. Like we ourselves, it's just us, feel that what we are doing is just a drop in the ocean. So it puts more intensity, put more weight that the pronoun we feel that what they are doing is just a drop in the ocean. So do you see the difference now of intensive and reflexive pronoun? Okay, very good. Do you think that you can construct sentences now? Okay, very good. After the discussion, I hope you understand. Do you understand, everyone? Are there any questions, clarifications, even violent reactions on the discussion? Okay, very good. Thank you. And I guess that you have understand our discussion. So now it is your time to shine. Now it is your time to shine. Here I have here the sentences that I presented to you before our discussion, and I want volunteers again to read these sentences and tell me which is reflexive and intensive pronoun. Any volunteers for the first statements, please? Read and then give the answer. Okay. Thank you very much. Yes, that's correct. The first statement in this number 1 is the queen herself gave the knight the award is a intensive pronoun. And the second is the queen gave the knight the award herself is a reflexive pronoun. Why can we say that it's intensive or reflexive? Because in first, the herself is placed next to the noun. And here, the reflexive pronoun is placed words after the main noun or the main pronoun. For the second sentence, please, any volunteer to read and then give the answer to the class. Okay, yes, that's right. That's right. The first sentence is Anna presented the proposal herself is a reflexive pronoun. And then second is Anna herself presented the proposal is an intensive pronoun. Very good. Okay, the last statements, please. Okay, thank you very much. The man himself dropped the letter at the mayor's office. Do you think the answer is right? Okay, yes, it is an intensive pronoun. And the next, the man dropped the letter at the mayor's office himself is an example of a reflexive pronoun. Okay, very good, everyone. It seems that you really understood and you listened well to our discussion. Now, it is your time to shine again because we will be having a group activity. You will construct and formulate your own sentences using intensive and reflexive pronoun. Okay, for our activity, I will be dividing the class into 8 groups. Okay, so count 1 to 10 starting from here to the last. Okay, now go to your groups. Go to your groups, form a circle, and listen to what you will be doing. Okay, so for this activity, you will be formulating your own sentences using intensive and reflexive pronoun. And I have here questions, and you will be answering the questions. And the sentences that you will be formulating will use intensive and reflexive pronoun. So, you will construct 2 sentences. 2 sentences, one for intensive and one for reflexive. Do you understand? Okay, very good. Now, representatives of each group, can you please come forward for picking what question do you want? Okay, thank you. It seems that everyone already have their questions. Now, this is your start. This is the time that you will be formulating your own sentences. You will only be given 3 minutes, and after that, we will proceed with our presentation. Okay, everyone? For your rubrics, everyone, before you proceed with writing your sentences, listen to the rubrics first. For the rubrics, 20% for accuracy, 30% for organization, 30% for grammar, and 10% for teamwork. On a total of 100%. Okay, time's up. It seems that everyone already formulated and created their sentences. Now let us go for our presentation. This will be fun, I promise. Okay, group 1, please step forward. I will be asking the question now, okay? Who washed the car in the garage? Very good, that's right. They constructed their sentences very well. Very good. Number 2, who planted the plants in the backyard? Very good, group 2. Group 3, who made the origami flowers? Very good, that's right. Wow, you formulated your sentences very good. Okay, for group 4, who brought all the foods? Very good. Group 5, who placed the boxes in the storage area? Very good, Very simple, but it's very good. Okay. Group 6, who bought the toys for the kids? Very good. Okay, for group 7, who swept the dirty floor? Very good, that's right. Okay, for group 8, who folded all the clothes on the sofa? Very good! It seems that everyone understood and really listened to our discussion. Now we will have a mini quiz. Okay? Now for our quiz, you will be writing. So will be a written quiz. Okay? So what you will be doing is that you will write 2 paragraphs. You will write 2 paragraphs with 3 to 5 sentences. 3 is the minimum and 5 is the maximum. The first paragraph must contain reflexive pronoun. So in the first paragraph, I have to see reflexive pronouns, okay? And the second paragraph must contain intensive pronoun. So in your quiz, you will be writing 2 sentences that contains reflexive and intensive pronoun. So in the first paragraph, I should see 2 sentences that uses reflexive pronoun, as well as in the second paragraph. Okay, what is all about your the paragraph that you will be writing? So it must be about the goals that you achieved and the people who helped you. So for this week, what are the goals that you have achieved? It might be your goal for the year, goal for the week, goal for the day, any goal or anything that you have achieved for this week. So you will be writing about that using intensive and reflexive pronoun. And you will also be writing who helped you or what are the factors that help you to achieve that goal. Okay? Reminder everyone, I don't want to see paragraphs that only contain myself, reflexive and intensive pronouns, okay? There should also be other pronouns like himself, herself, themselves, ourselves, if it would be inclusive. Okay? Okay, now you will be given 10 minutes to do that. Before you proceed with writing your sentences, everyone, listen to the rubrics first. 20% for accuracy, 30% for organization, and 40% for grammar. Okay, make sure you use this rubric as guide to construct a really good sentence and in order to get a good mark. Okay, you can now proceed to writing your own sentences and be mindful of the time allotted to you. Timer starts now. Okay, time's up everyone. Pass the papers to the front. Okay, thank you very much. Once again, thank you very much everyone for your participation and cooperation for today's session. And for your assignment, just research and read in advance about textual aids. That is all. Thank you. Goodbye everyone.